Persons with Disabilities Accessibility and Inclusion Awards 2021.
What's important about these awards is that it highlights the needs and the response to people with disabilities. So we know that we have very high rates of disability in the NWT, and they encompass all kinds of things, some that you can see and some that you can't. And we provide a response as a government, but that is supplemented in many useful ways by nonprofit organizations such as the MS Society, for example. So it's important to take this time to recognize there are disabilities and that there is a robust nonprofit sector and government response.
Minister responsible for Persons with Disabilities Award for Accessibility and Inclusion goes to Laurie McLean. Cornelius Van Dyke nominated Laurie McLean because she works incredibly hard to support NWT residents who have multiple sclerosis.
She has taken it as her mission to make life easier for people who are either newly diagnosed or continuing to live with MS. So in all that time that Laurie's been part of the MS Society, she's advocated for people who need inclusion and accessibility as people living with MS. She's done things like obtaining mobility aids, air conditioners to manage the symptoms of MS, and even getting infusions offered in Yellowknife so that people don't have to travel to Edmonton. So it's a remarkable contribution.
It's an episodic disease, meaning that it can happen anytime, anywhere, and there's so many different types of MS. Relapsing remitting is one, but me with relapsing remitting could be totally different from somebody else. I've got a habit of saying yes to things. So before realizing it, I was saying, okay, I'll do it. But I figured I live and breathe. 23 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It took me probably until 2010 to actually feel comfortable physically and mentally to be able to put myself out there. Having MS and going to meetings and seeing the look on people's faces and knowing exactly what they're thinking. Meaning, yeah, you people from the South, you're not going to pay attention to us at all. You say you're going to send us an email, half the time we don't get it. And so I thought, no, I want representation here. I want people here to know about MS. I think just being there for that person who doesn't have anyone else to talk to, doesn't know who to turn to, and they just make that phone call to me or that email. And I keep everything confidential. If you just want to talk to me and don't even want to tell me your name, I'm fine with that. And you know, I try to be that person that listens.
Thank you, Laurie, for your hard work, your dedication and your efforts, says Cornelius. It's very much appreciated. The Human Rights Commission Accessibility Award goes to Jati Kwe Friendship Center.
The Human Rights Commission is the agency that people can talk to if they believe that their human rights have been not respected, if they think that they've been discriminated against. Our goal is to actually achieve a society where discrimination doesn't take place. So we do that through education and awareness and things like this Accessibility Award, which is one of the ways in which we try to highlight how important accessibility is to all of us here in the North. The award this year recognizes the Jati Kwe Friendship Center in Port Providence and the work that they've done to procure an accessible van to help folks with mobility issues get around.
Through the Friendship Center's relationship with the NWT Disabilities Council, the ability to obtain an accessible van was realized. As a senior and a person who lives with health issues and disability, I understand firsthand how important being included in activities is to addressing isolation and mental wellness. This van will be well utilized in Fort Providence. and I am happy for the community and to nominate the Friendship Center for working diligently to acquire it.
It was something that I've been looking at for a long time because we have an elders program, yet we don't have any way of transporting them around. We don't have it like if we were, once COVID is over with, getting people out to meetings, say in Simpson, gatherings for elders, things like that, or even in the community. And another bonus is it's a handy van. It's got a lift on it, so even people with wheelchair accessibility, it will help them get around, and hopefully it's going to be a service to the community. And we've also been looking, since we've got it, some people have been talking about maybe we can pick up school kids, and it's open for other groups.
It's wonderful for people to know that as the NWT Disabilities Council, it really means that we're here for the whole NWT. It's not just Yellowknife oriented.
YK Motors did some work on the vehicle at no charge, and so, but especially the Disability Council. They worked with the Avon Senior Citizens and people in Yellowknife, and that's where the van came from, because they got a brand new one. And so they worked with them diligently and made it all happen. All I did was ask, and they did all the work, and then I just drove it back. So I'm just grateful. We're very grateful for this year opportunity for the community.
The NWT Disabilities Council Community Champion Award goes to Samantha Morandin.
We have programs that span from early childhood intervention straight through to homelessness services and end-of-life learning supports, education, housing, everything that can affect the life of a person with a disability, we help support and provide services for. This award was a Community Champion Award to be a recognition of anyone or a person that has made a significant contribution to people to increase their life or better the life of people living with disabilities in the Northwest Territory.
So right now, Sam, who won the award for the Disabilities Council, is doing a lesson with Michaela. And Michaela just started riding out here. It must be 2 months now.
Samantha was born and raised in Northern Ontario, and she came to Yellowknife in 2014. As soon as she got to the Territory, she became an avid volunteer. And one of the things that she has a 20-year background in is equestrian sports. And so she decided to approach North Country Stables and ask them if she could start a program to support children and youth with intellectual disabilities and different disabilities to learn how to ride horses.
I've always had a passion for working with children with various abilities, and so with my experience with horses and how I knew how much therapy that came from working with them, I spoke to Pat, one of the owners here, and within weeks actually we had set up my first student, and I've been working with her for a few years, and it's been amazing, to be honest. I love working with the children. I get so much joy out of it. It's not something I would trade for the world, to be honest. It's just amazing. They always surpass anything that I might have any expectations. They surpass them, and it just makes me feel amazing that they get so much from them, because I also have gotten so much from horses for my whole life. So
she won't take any pay. Like, I've been fighting with her over this for a couple of years, and she says, you know what, Pat, I love coming out here and I love doing this. And if I start getting paid, it's like a job. And she says, I don't want it to be like a job. I want to do it because I love to do it. And she comes out, and she's just so great with everybody.
Horses are pretty majestic animals. And when you can work one-on-one with a horse, it's a feeling like no other. So I think that learning to care for them, learning to ride them, and just like building a bond, it's incredible. They're big, powerful animals, and when you can build like a connection with one, it's incredible. I think the true award goes to this girl right here, Daisy, and I'm very honored to accept it on her behalf.
Congratulations to this year's winners. And thank you to all of our volunteers.
I would just like to thank everyone who volunteers. I realize that it can be time-consuming, it can be stressful, but it can also be very rewarding and so very much appreciated to supplement the work that government does, but in a more personal and up-close way. And we very much appreciate it, and I just don't know where we'd be without our volunteers.